Star family, thank you guys so much for joining me here for your reading. This is an action-packed read, and the first message that was coming through is you guys are definitely gaining clarity in regards to some kind of chaotic period that had occurred in your life. And when I say chaos, I mean any kind of destabilization that you're now utilizing as a catalyst for your greatest transformation. And you're about to gain clarity in regards to why you've gone through a huge refinement period, if you will, to make room for so many new, I'm hearing, possibilities and potentials. And this is helping you step into your full potential, okay? I'm also hearing like you're stepping into your Dharma. And as you walk with your Dharma also walks with you. So a lot of you are like walking with this, I'm hearing internal knowing that you've made the right decision in some area of your life. And I'm just seeing like a huge transition that's about to occur as a result of this cause. Like there's about to be a huge effect in your life. So let's go ahead and read 1313 because it kept coming up. Okay, it came up as I was preparing for this reading. It came up in the astral as well. We talk about it later. So we'll open up with, as the storm passes, clarity is felt faster than lightning is seen against the dark sky. The divine is reminding you that clarity is readily available. All you have to do is ask. You weathered the storm and now the sky is clearing. So loving energy is surrounding you right now, and you trust that the clarity that you feel is the answer that you need. So again, a lot of you, there's just like this internal knowing, okay? There's an internal knowing. It's almost like people are asking like, what's the source? What's the reason, right? What's the root of why you're moving the way that you are right now? And you're saying, my source is source. My source is this internal infinite potential. It's this internal voice within. And I feel like this internal voice has now, I'm hearing, just drown out all the background noise. So let's go ahead and open up with what kickstarted this read off. So listen to this, right? I'll show you guys, actually. I'll take you with me on a trip. So, all right. So this is a camper van that's not too far from where I am, right? I'll read it. I'll zoom in so you can see what it says on it. So this says Antares. Okay, Antares. Zoom in a bit more. If you guys cannot see it still, Antares. Okay, so Antares is one of the royal stars. It's one of the watchers in the sky, and he actually rules Archangel Uriel, which is about you guys being your higher self in physical form. And your higher self is, I'm hearing, it knows the way, so it's guiding every aspect of your life right now. It just requires for the physical vessel to surrender and align its actions accordingly. So again, a lot of you, this is like this internal voice. So we'll talk about camper vans to begin with. So camper vans in the metaphysical realm, they represent a symbol for like a desire for freedom that you have during this time. It shows exploration and a change of scenery that's about to happen in your life. It represents you guys yearning for a new adventure and needing to break free from old routines, desiring to reconnect with your true nature and embark on a new journey, right, of self-discovery. And it represents personal growth and transformation. So this is like you reevaluating significant changes that you're making at this time in your life. And it represents independence and autonomy. So you guys are like no longer codependent on just, I'm hearing like anyone's acceptance or whatever this could be. It just signifies like taking control over your life, right? And having the freedom to make your own choices during this time, not asking anyone for permission to do so, not seeking external acceptance. Otherwise that compromises your integrity. If you guys want to make changes, I'm hearing like you're going to like, you know, you're asking for expert advice, which is thyself, right? No one knows you like you. So new beginnings, it represents new chapters in your life and exciting potential of this new phase. Also escaping from stress. So you guys are escaping any kind of pressures. I'm hearing anyone that offers you a mouthful of dogma, you know, just any kind of like, I'm hearing like clapback, which is super interesting. So maybe you guys feel like it's triggered, the things that you're doing right now could be triggering some people around you just because it's unknown, like you're a bit unpredictable during this time. Anyway, a royal star Antares, it represents great worldly success, and it can show that their ambition is quite ruthless. So you guys could be seen as quite a cold or detached character right now just because you're focusing on your truth, right? And living in your truth. And it's interesting because we have truth be told even here at the base. So yeah, it looks like you guys are living out your truth during this time. Now, when I think of ruthless, there's one key word I think of. All right, that's King of Swords energy, right? So the King of Swords, he's very loyal. He usually has this vision or quest. So I feel like you guys have like, you're on some kind of like side quest in your life, or it used to be a side quest and now it's like your main quest. Like I'm hearing this is just taking over your whole organism in the way that it feels so clear, right? When we talk about clarity, we talk about swords. Like, your truth is your sword, your authenticity is your sword, right? There's no need to fight. It's almost like your clarity is now breeding a different kind of power about who you are, about the things that you want to go on to, you know, experience in this life. And you can be seen as a little bit dangerous because of that, because there's nothing that anyone can say at this stage in your life to instill any kind of seed of doubt in you. Okay, so the King of Swords is basically, he speaks to the 𝓬𝓸, right? This is about the soul that's seated in the physical vessel, and it's the seat of the soul. So the King of Swords actually represents clarity when it comes to the pineal gland. So your primary antenna when navigating this third dimensional experience is the eyes of the soul. It's like you're looking at your life right now through the eyes of the soul, and you're looking at everything through frequency and vibration. For you, none of this is personal. It's all just vibrational when it comes to what's in alignment for you during this stage in your journey, and the things and people that are not. This is not personal, it's vibrational. But some people may see you as, you know, a threat, right? Maybe some people are intimidated by your ambition during this time, and because of that, any relationships that limit you are fracturing. And it also represents that your mind is very still. Okay, the King of Swords usually has this goal, it's a vision, right? It usually represents a quest in this suit. And it shows that you've become still to the point where you're going beyond the mind. And it's so interesting as well, because you have rest and rejuvenation here as well. So this is like an internal knowing that you have, right? It's a connection that you have to 12th house elements, a connection that you have that's intangible. You know, it's like people would, you know, they're wanting to understand, but I'm hearing even if you wrote a book on this, like nobody would even, don't have the eye to see it. They're not looking at it through, you know, the eyes of the soul. Okay. Anyway, it also represents you're going beyond the mind. So I feel like you guys have learned to quiet the analytical mind. The King of Swords is a suit who has learned to master his mind, and because of that, he has mastery over matter. So this is about you being the infinite timeless consciousness, right? That's seated in this physical vessel, and you know, your consciousness and your awareness is your true home. Your awareness is temporarily housed within the temple of this body, within the temple, right? Within the mind, the temples houses your awareness, your consciousness, and this is for the purpose of experiencing life on earth. And your soul is not this vessel, it's not bound by this limited dimensional avatar or dimensionally limited avatar. It's just a cloak of skin. Okay, right now, like you're seeing yourself as the wearer of this skin. You're not the garment, you are using this garment or using this cloak to encase your awareness right now. So there's definitely, like, again, this mind body soul connection that you guys have, and you're honoring the needs of the soul through the physical action that you take during this time. And the King of Swords, he's a character that's not afraid to discard or sever hastily with anyone or anything that tries to, you know, convince him otherwise, right? He knows that it says more about them than it does about him. And again, he can be seen as quite ruthless because of that. And he's just very intelligent. He's very sharp. You guys are super focused. I'm going to talk about this as it's you, because this is what I was seeing. He's a good negotiator. You guys are strategic. You're ahead of the game. You're following your wisdom. Your ego, your physical vessel is aligning with that wisdom, that internal knowing. You're applying your knowledge, and you have mental mastery right now. So the talents of you guys during this time, right? The King of Swords character is achieving mastery over your own mind. And that's what you guys have been able to cultivate. And it leads to you being really cool, calm and collected. You have this foreknowledge, and you're acting on that knowledge, you're acting on that inner knowing. Okay, and again, wisdom talks about the quality of having experience, knowledge and good judgment. The quality of being wise comes with the application of your knowledge. So again, it's like, you know, like I'm hearing, you know, no different at this point. Like, you know, no different. This is the only option. You know, there's something around that. This is the only option. It's either you live in your truth or you become a stranger to yourself. Okay. So it also indicates with Antares that one can be the cause of their own undoing. So this means that your cause is going to have an effect, and a man is only the effect of his cause. So your non-action is also an action, right? It's like your non-action to go ahead and do this thing and live in your truth is also going to have an effect, right? It's also going to have I'm hearing an internal reaction. So the natural theme of the star generates success by going through a cleansing life and death experience. It suggests that one seeks intensity even when not required. And even other people, like, they may see this as, oh, is this really, you know, something that is necessary? You know, people are always asking you, is this even necessary to, like, go all in on this? And for Egyptians, it shows the the scales of justice, right? So this represents weighing the hearts of the dead, okay, and the souls of the dead before they pass into the underworld. So this is about you guys living in your truth, right? The ostrich feather of Maat represents the truth. The heart represents how well you lived according to your truth, how well you lived according to your true essence. And, you know, this also talks about how resentment can weigh heavy on the heart. A burden of a grudge can weigh heavy on the heart for not living in your truth. And there's something about being able to, you know, extend forgiveness and compassion to those who may not deserve it, because it is those that need it the most, because they are a stranger to their true essence. They know no different, just like you know no different. And that's the truth of this reality. It really is a paradox. Two truths can be true at one time. It depends what filter perception people are viewing the world through. And when I say that, I mean other people's primary antenna. You know, it could be the neocortex. Maybe their primary antenna is their five senses, right? One viewing their physical experiences, and it's so linked to the amygdala, right, where people may be operating in fear. Maybe they're afraid to take the risk that you are. Maybe they're afraid to step into the unknown, you know, because some people, they live their life based off of survival, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. We're just going to kind of like breeze past that right now, but it does represent difficult transitions from life to death and death to life again, and the burning off of karma. So this talks about you guys just moving so fluidly through this experience, right? You're not really attaching to the stories that have played out. You're not really attaching to what people are saying. Again, it's just not personal for you. It's all just vibrational. So I'm seeing like a weaving and bobbing, right? You guys are like really conscious and aware when it comes to what it is that you want to kind of weave into the fabric of your own existence on earth. And it's a very sacred act, right? Everything that you do, it's deeply thought through, right? I'm hearing like deeply contemplative. You're a deeply contemplative person, but when you do make decisions, you there's no changing your mind on this. And it represents, again, like going from fluid, infinite potential, separating yourself into a separate state of awareness for the purpose of experiencing life on earth in a subjective point of view, and then being able to remove yourself. This is the 9 numerical year, right? From these earthly experiences, taking everything that you've learned from your journey on earth and being able to move back into the non-physical. So it's like you're in and out, you know, as far as you're concerned. Like, yeah, okay. So yeah, you're definitely, again, connected very deeply to the root chakra and Archangel Uriel. So this is about Michael, Archangel Michael, and also Uriel, the crown chakra. And the root chakra is the largest hold of creative energy in this physical vessel. And the crown chakra is the center point of manifestation, where it takes a non-physical, right, like your dreams, your wishes, your desires, and how you act on that in the physical realm. It will begin to project that. So it's like a working complete congruency between your lower nature, your physical vessel, the ego, and also your higher self. And yeah, it also talks about where your action begins to seal your fate, okay? And your action will also collapse an intention into reality, right? Into space-time, and it will lead to the result of an emergence of a new sequence of events that will begin to unfold, that will lead you towards a very specific outcome. So it's like you guys know what action to take during this time. Okay, so I was also seeing in the astral realm Neptune gases energy and taking different forms of manifestations. So this is saying that you're experiencing life on earth from a far broader and universal truth and like perspective, right? Where you're able to gather some type of intel or remote view your journey on earth for optimal navigation on your earthly experiences. So you're like, this action will have this reaction, slowing down, and you're slowing down to come to an internal awareness where you're intentionally co-creating your experiences, and you're applying your free will a very specific way that will lead to a very specific onset of sequence of events and a very specific unique outcome. It's like you can see at every point in time if you choose to engage with situations, if you choose not to. It's like you have mastery over your mind, okay? And because of that, you have mastery over matter, because you can slow down internally. And I'm hearing like sieve through the sequence of events that may unfold if you say yes to this, if you say no to this, and you know you're seeing the power of no, and you're also seeing the power of yes at all times, and you're applying this. I'm hearing not like, you know, just sparingly. It's like you're doing this, like utilizing your free will at all points in time. You know, it's like you can see your destiny before it unfolds and you're acting on that knowledge. So you guys are anchoring in, again, higher levels of consciousness into this cosmic gameplay experience in the matrix, and anchoring in higher levels of awareness that extend even far beyond this matrix. But you're intercommunicating in these realms with your higher self during this time, Antares, and channeling information and being able to act on that information. That is going to be very healing for your experience on Earth. It's going to be very rejuvenating, and it leads to you becoming a self-sustaining organism, which means that you're seeking the oracle within. Okay, you're not seeking external acceptance or validation to be able to do certain things. And this is the connection to your own plasma. Okay, and this is you guys communicating to yourself, higher aspects of self, higher organisms, right? They're also made up of cells who are also holding that same plasma membrane as you, which all originates from the same source, the same wisdom, and it's changing the way that you see your life on Earth, okay, especially emotionally. And yeah, you're able to anchor your higher self throughout your whole organism because of that, because you don't have fear, right? Because you know that you have this unwavering just knowing. It's not even faith, it's like this knowing. But faith is to be sure what it is that you want and certain of the things that you cannot see yet. So yeah, it's super, super interesting. So you have spheres within your multidimensional body that function as a membrane, which allow this clear channel. Okay, you guys are basically like a clear channel, to put it very simply. It allows these thoughts to move freely from your higher self into your organism and allow you to gather information from higher dimensions, and you're bringing that into the third dimensional experience, and you're acting on this higher, I'm hearing, wealth of knowledge. All right. But yeah, super, super interesting. You're remembering yourself as a multiversal, universal organism, and you're able to extend your connection to the self and all of yourself instead of just this one small localized version, which is super interesting. And what I was seeing was basically organisms, they emit photons, which is light. And this is energy that you absorb, right? It's like, for example, the sun is plasma and it emits photons, which is light. You absorb those photons, you absorb that light, and it charges you up. It gives you a burst of energy and vitality. That's what the sun card is all about. And it helps you take action and make movements in your life. So this could be like downloads that you guys are receiving that are really significant during this moment in time. And this leads to like spontaneous emission. So, you know, when people make a very, sudden recovery from certain circumstances, is a quantum mechanical process that allows an atom to transition from basically one state of being into another. So this is going from a higher energy into a lower energy. So it's like you're connected to your higher self as you are with your human self, and you're able to merge this. But absorbing photons can happen through like sun gazing. Maybe that's what you guys have done. But photons of energy will open up a wormhole or a portal. So this is about a shortcut from a situation, right? Maybe this is a download when it comes to, all right, you can prevent this by choosing this path. And I feel like that's the kind of foresight that you guys have during this time. And maybe this is like a portal of discovery through that internal connection to your own plasma, okay? So yeah, it's a journey that may seem far ahead, but these portals open up, which lead to an acceleration of events. So this could be where your consciousness is moving from one state of mind, I'm hearing, into another. But yeah, this is a celestial travel portal where there's a stargate or a window of opportunity that is presented to you. Okay, you're seeing everything as an opportunity and you're seizing that moment. So this could be a stargate. It's also known as a time matrix, okay? And a wormhole, a corridor of safe passage through the space-time continuum. It's an exit point and an entry point. There's so many different words that you can use this as, but it's your link to all times, all spaces and dimensions. So it's a form of interstellar travel. And this basically happens where you have like actual conscious time travel that happens with the mind mentally. And I feel like that's the kind of mastery of a mind that you have. So for example, this is lucid mind time travel, where you're doing this in the waking state. Like it's a stargate that's opened up for you guys by your galactic brothers and sisters that form like a corridor of safe passage to the space-time continuum. So it's where your higher self says, okay, you know what, this decision can lead to this outcome, or you guys can make this decision right now, you can take this risk, and it leads to this outcome. But there's almost like this, it's this knowing, it's this feeling, it's downloads that you guys are receiving in the moment, in the present. And in the present moment, you have access points to all dimensions across space and time. And then the next message that I saw in the astral was you guys swimming in the sea, and there was a lot of seaweed, and no matter how strong the current was, you kept going. Okay, so no matter how strong, this external stimuli is, you guys are continuing to just keep moving forward on your path right now. And it also symbolizes the unconscious or deeper aspects of oneself. So I feel like you guys are really diving deep into your psyche right now, which is the intersection of the soul meeting the physical. It's the interface where the divine meets the material. And seaweed is a plant that grows underwater, so it shows what's growing beneath or underneath the surface for you guys. So again, I feel like this is something that's not like clear for everyone, but they can tell that something's changed about you when it comes to how you navigate your earthly experiences. And it shows, again, it's not visible to everyone else immediately, but they can tell that something has shifted within your frequency. And it shows you have a gift of inspiration that you may have not been tapping into that you now are. It represents hidden treasures. It's a link between the land of the physical and the metaphysical. It also shows your ability to breathe in the midst of your experiences, and it represents your conscious life experiences and acting, basically allowing your unconscious or subconscious to be your biggest guide during this time as you navigate your way in the conscious realms. Have you ever heard the saying of allow the light of the moon to guide you as you walk in the light of the sun? So as you walk in your purpose, right, as you walk into your dharma, allow your intuitive nudges, right, the moon, to be your guiding force. Allow the unknown forces or the unseen forces, I'm hearing the benevolent forces, to be your guiding hand. So yeah, this is a unique connection between your body and mind, and this could be you guys literally reaching higher, you know, brainwaves, and it allows you to integrate your divinity into your earthly journey. It also represents that you're finding an inner strength to explore the unexplored aspects of yourself. And then we had 1313 come up again in the astral realm, and in the astral realm you guys were speaking about generational trauma, cleaning up your bloodline, navigation and preparation for death, and why it was so important. You were explaining that to a mother archetype, and also you were talking about how Saturn moves, and you were being in one place and then another. So this is about the the rules of time. Okay, and time is just the space that occurs between one event and another. And you guys are literally able to literally surf through the illusion of time and enter into a desired plane of existence via the mind. And that's what's going on right now. There's like a conscious time travel that's happening in through the internal networks within you that lead you to external places. So this is basically where your consciousness is, like, you're living in a frame vibration, you guys, is what I'm saying. Like, there's a destined outcome, there's something that you're doing, and you know what feels like it's in alignment with that bigger picture. You know who is in alignment with that bigger picture. You know what is in alignment with that bigger picture, and you know the steps that you have to take in order to get there. So it's about making sure that your actions are always in alignment with this very specific continuum, and that's not compromised under any circumstance. So ruling time, Pluto energy is what about Scorpio, Aquarius is what about, you know, Uranus, and also Saturn, and Mars energy with Pluto and Scorpio. So destabilization is your biggest catalyst for transformation, right? Pluto is all about death and rebirth. Uranus is about sudden pivots or changes, things unexpectedly happening. To other people, it seems like something's just happening out of the blue with you guys. But again, Pluto is like the internal changes that are going on within your own psyche that lead to you. Mars taking action, maybe about commitment on certain things, Saturn. But yeah, after this, you guys jumped over a hole after you and a girl, like, she's basically things that you used to like trip over, you're walking over now, because this girl, she basically fell into a hole and you jumped over it, so you were able to kind of learn from what it is that you were foreseeing, right? What it is that you wanted to prevent instead of trying to reverse the damage of it. And you realize that your self-awareness was going to be your torch during this stage in your life. So holes represent something that's been missing or incomplete. It represents that a foundation that you've been standing on has been unstable. So this is the cycle that was incomplete in your life. Maybe this is where you were still connected to someone or something, even though the foundation was completely compromised. And then you also saw crocodiles and crocodiles in the river you guys were swimming in at one point in time. Where is it? It's somewhere, but you were swimming in a river with crocodiles, and it represents oh yeah, you showed these people a river and kept your cool despite knowing that there was crocs in the river. So this is a like, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 life is but a dream, right? So it's like you're seeing this experience as a dream, okay? You're seeing this as just dreaming in the third dimension. That's what it is when you wake up, right? From this experience, it's almost like, whoa, that was a trip. So yeah, crocodiles also represent raw primal emotions, right? Or instincts. Maybe this is about fear that other people have been suppressing within them that you could see come to the surface in very unconscious ways. Maybe people being intimidated or fearful of, you know, you stepping into your power because it only mirrors the inability to embrace all that they are. You know, that's really what this is, and where they brace for it. It also represents repressed ancestral memories that could be, again, coming to the surface. So this could be people unaware. And it represents just people that have been dormant or sleeping, and maybe where you guys were once sleeping and just repeating. And it represents the reptilian brain, okay, with the crocodiles and Antares, because it talks about Horus going to the underworld, you know, shape-shifting and into Osiris, right, the masculine figure. And people say that, you know, he was green, and it represents like a reptilian consciousness in some ways, and being able to merge up with the higher self. So we'll talk about this. So the parts of the human brain that is being activated is going to represent the human stage of their evolutionary journey. So the parts of the brain that the human is accessing shows you their state of evolution. So when the human is asleep, all right, is navigating this experience through their primary antenna being, you know, their amygdala or their neocortex, then they're only focusing on what's happening in the here and now. And they can be in very like counter-creative routes because they're cut off from that source cord. And they can be like very unconscious to their non-action also having like a very specific reaction, or their cause having an effect. So this person has an automatic reaction to certain triggers, and they can't access these higher states of awareness, and they can't even observe like the actions that they're taking in real time. So their disconnection to themselves is reflected in the way that they, you know, connect to others, because they have a hard time connecting to others because they are so focused on the self. Again, it is a state of survival. So these people can often have like self-serving agendas, or they can be like, you know, self-serving parasites in that way. It can lead to parasitic energy exchanges because there is no code of honor. There is no connection to the higher self. They're blocked off from the heart space because of that. And humans can become addicted to these very specific states of consciousness. So waking up, right, is cultivating this awareness and this internal stillness that you guys have been able to master. And it represents an invitation to interrupt these cycles of suffering and introduce a new gene and expression. So you begin to move out of the perspective of the chaotic matrix, and you begin to, instead of externalize your focus, you have your focus be back on yourself, okay, on your own sovereign be like creation that you guys are. You're no longer in this counter creative state where you have this source cord connecting you, right? And that's animating this experience. And then what you're projecting is just being depleted. You know, it's like there is no upcycle. There is no connection to the self. It's all going to the external world, right? It's all bleeding out of the root chakra. So this actually multidimensionally actually gives people that operate in the reptilian brain consciousness, very unconsciously, the depiction of the reptilian tail. That's literally what happens. The source cord goes down, and there is no upcycle, there is no energy, right? Because they're not bringing it back on themselves. There's like this unfinished cycle, right? It's like they're always focusing on the external, right? Compared to you guys, you literally are able to spin in this centripetal state of being where you can upcycle that energy. You know, you can always upcycle that energy, compared to a centrifugal state of being. It's like externalizing the power. So yeah, this shows that you are able to come back into that neutral observation. You guys are not judging these people that may be in a state of survival, and you're able to see clearly. You can recognize that other people are operating in a very like stressed state of being. Their emotional body is overrunning their perception, and they're just repeating these ancestral patterns. And their true essence has no room for creation, okay, because their amygdala is basically hijacked. So this is about real estate. Something is no longer taking real estate up in your brain, because I was seeing like you guys closing a deal in real estate, which represents a final cycle that you're closing out. Maybe this is like old ways of navigating the world. You're closing out imbalanced energy exchanges, and dreaming about real estate shows stability, security, personal growth, and waking life. Also significant changes that you may be making. You're also selling a property and you close the deal successfully, which is about representing the letting go of old patterns, beliefs, signifying a need for change or moving forward with your life. So I feel like you have a completely different way of navigating these experiences. You also flew to a private island, which represents that you've been exploring your own psyche, the hidden aspects of yourself. You've been protecting yourself. You're retreating to this, you know, private oasis within you, and it's allowing you to open up doors of communication with other connections that you have in the non-physical realm. Because again, you're more tuned into the non-physical, right? Instead of just like the physical. And planes represent freedom, success, independence. And you were also talking about a Ra statue. Okay, Ra, Ra, okay, Ra, and a ley line. So Ra in the metaphysical realm usually represents new beginnings, enlightenment. It's the sun god, right? A sense of personal power, so it's the plasma. It could represent a period of increased awareness, confidence, or the need to embrace your inner strength and leadership qualities. It also represents the life-giving power of the sun, right? Again, like sun gazing, as we were talking about earlier. Divine guidance also, so this represents messages from your higher self urging you to follow your true path and embrace your full potential. Positive transformations that are associated with the renewal, rebirth, and significant transformations in your life. Power and authority, this represents an increased power, leadership, or taking charge of your situation. And spiritual awakenings, which represent a heightened state of awareness that you guys are embodying right now. It's a higher level of truth and awareness in regards to being able to identify and observe neutrally, not judge, but observe what plane of consciousness somebody's operating on, and what, you know, again, parts of the brain they're accessing. After this, you saw the ley line. So this was like a flood of energy that you're receiving. Again, I feel like this is energetic upgrades for a lot of you, but the human has this potential within that energetic field to receive downloads or information, to clear out old energies as new energies come through. There's like an open gateway or portal that allows you to absorb higher octave information. And it shows that you guys are ascending during this time. You're clearing out old frequencies and making room for the new. And this is an invitation to come back to the self, to cultivate a very strong, profound sense of intuition, to utilize this finely tuned instrument called your 𝓣𝓱𝓪, which is going to help you, you know, really discern again what feels like it's in harmony with you, and being able to exchange your life force very consciously with others. Okay, so applying your free will at any moment in time to choose how you want to apply your infinite potential, how you want to apply this source core that you're connected to in a harmonious state. And this leads to you being the one that is molding and shifting and changing future generations through the decisions that you guys make in the now. Being so grounded and rooted in who you are that nobody's absence or presence disrupts your being, staying at the center of the circle and allowing all things to take their course, right? By 𝓘𝓪. So once the human learns to regulate these aspects of the self, they can utilize the reptilian brain for the highest service, okay, which is to be grounded and rooted in the physical realm. We all have the reptilian brain, okay? It's about being able to utilize that root chakra element, those primitive instincts or those primal instincts, to be grounded, to be rooted, to be stable, to not live in fear anymore, okay? And this allows you to own your energetic space so that nothing can touch you without your permission. So this is about bird's eye view that you guys have, again, like the high priestess energy. You're able to tune into your eyes of the soul as well, right? Like your primary antenna, and allowing you to see the path of your destiny before it unfolds, okay, where you can see the full events that lie ahead of you. So the divine feminine is about the connection to the heart chakra. So this is about like the mind, body, soul connection that you guys have. And when the root chakra is blocked, you know, it does lead to a lot of blockages that happen, where it actually closes the magnetic field of the heart. And it literally happens. Like fear is a physical, you know, a biological, biochemical response that happens. And hormones like cortisol or adrenaline get released, your blood pressure and your heart rate increases, you start breathing fast, your blood flow changes, it actually flows away from the heart, right? It actually flows away from the heart. So this means that, you know, people's, again, life force is literally being depleted. You know, that's really what happens. So Antares is basically known for extremes. It's known to be a fearless spirit, and when it's channeled in the right way, it can lead to you actually like moving mountains in the physical realm. It works in a way where it's better to temper the devil that's inside. So this is about, you know, no longer being too compliant, you know, knowing that the reptilian brain is there it is there for a reason, because it is there to protect you. And it's about not being too compliant, right, with the needs or demands of others, focusing on the calling of the soul instead, and being able to honor that in the actions that you guys take. So Antares demands we take a stand for our truth, again, the 𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓪, against the established conditions of our personal lives and against the established order of authority directing our lives or conditions. That authority are no longer in our best interest, nor supporting our evolution or freedom. So again, it's a very, very interesting energy. And with Osiris, again, this is about the god of the underworld, and again, it usually is associated with like reptilian energy, whether you subscribe to that notion or not. It's about being able to merge your higher nature with your lower nature, right? Knowing that this is just a part of the physical vessel and ego, and it can come to the surface in very unconscious ways if you're operating in fear, or you can utilize this physical vessel and utilize those instincts that are there for a very specific reason. It's so that you are aware of your surroundings. We're not going to go into it fully today because that's going to be a very long topic. We'll talk about that later this month in regards to epigenetics. But this is where your ancestors continue to express themselves through you, but you represent and show a higher expression. Okay, so alchemy is saying what you want to do with this situation. The voice is your higher mind and your awareness, and the truth is paradoxal, right? Being able to observe others and understand the root of their cause is things, there's certain basically laws of this universe that we're abiding by. Everything's rooted in fear, or it's rooted in love, okay? And that's like the law of duality, okay? So people's exaggerated emotions, right, that can come to the surface in very unconscious ways to represent where they're operating in fear. Are you going to mirror those fear responses back to others by just reacting, or are you going to slow down, master your mind, you know, be really conscious when it comes to what it is that you want to exchange your life force with, okay? Because I'm hearing there will be no resolution there, especially if you're arguing with the Five of Swords energy. It's knowing that sometimes your best response is no response whatsoever. Sometimes the best response is to be able to be absent, okay? That's the type of energy that's coming through here. So you're no longer, again, mirroring the wounds back to others. Instead, you're in a conscious co-creation. You're leading by example, and you're showing others that you can exist in this profound state of harmony instead of suffering. You're grounding yourself, you're protecting yourself, you're aligning your actions accordingly, and you're choosing a conscious co-creation. So again, being present allows you to realize that your non-action also has an action, and yeah, that you're able to extend compassion to those, okay? Being really cautious with who it is that you want to exchange your life force with. And this is gamma perception. So this is operating in a fifth dimensional, you know, density, okay, and vibration. When we talk about the new earth and 5D and this frequency and vibration and the earth shifting to a new vibration, well, this is about you guys being an organism made up of the cells of planet Earth, and that means that you are the new human, right? You are the new Earth. You are the representation of the new human. And it's through being able to modify your actions, right? And respond to challenges as they arise with, you know, the eyes of compassion, you know, being able to choose your actions and see what's in alignment with its highest good and in alignment with the soul's highest expression as well. And this allows you to alter the timelines that you shift to, okay? Realizing that you're able to enter into this 0 point of non-judgment, and this allows you to be really conscious when it comes to the application of your free will and hold your frequency, okay? That's really important as well. But yeah, it's about having mastery over matter. The fifth dimension is not a destination, it is an embodiment, it is an awareness where you're no longer just inside of this simulation. Gamma perception is about anchoring in high levels of consciousness into this gameplay experience. And you're no longer just interacting also with life on Earth, but you're almost an outsider looking in, right? You're able to see you know, how other people operate from a higher level of awareness. Okay, so that's really important as well. Discerning if you want to form a deeper connection with some people, if you want to, you know, remove yourself from circumstances as well. This is unconditional love, right? There is no room for fear there. It's accepting people as they are, even if they don't have the ability right now to accept themselves, but also place them where they belong in vicinity to you. Love is also multidimensional. Love is also a paradox. So yeah, it's super, super interesting, right? You're coming back to the same situations, but with a totally new state of awareness, and you're accessing these new aspects of self, essentially, right? Your choices are made from what's in the highest good of all, right? And this is how highly advanced civilizations operate. They operate in a way where they don't just make decisions that are, you know, self-serving, that are good for the human, but also for the betterment of the collective, okay? So there's something about being able to extend compassion to others. To perform alchemy is to say, okay, let's pause, let's ask ourselves really internally, what do we want to do with this external stimuli? Are we just reacting to it? Primal instincts, amygdala? Or are we actually responding to it? That's really what this is, and becoming friends with the unknown as you align this conscious co-creation. So yeah, there's so much more. Again, this really does stem from just like epigenetics, but we're not gonna really get into that right now, because I feel like we just said a lot, and I don't really want to tell you guys enough so that you'll integrate what I'm saying, but not so much that it overwhelms you. But yeah, we're gonna do a whole workshop on that anyway, but yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's just see what messages come out. I was just gonna get like overlaid Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. Super interesting. Okay, so again, this is a Stargate energy. We have Lemurian codes, embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, and living with grace. And that's what you guys are doing. You're able to extend grace to yourself. You're able to be kind to yourself, even if others cannot be kind, right, to you. It usually represents where they're unkind to themselves. So the divine matrix, interconnectedness, synchronicity, and God instances. Okay, so again, this is knowing that you do take on like certain expressions, right? You guys are literally made up of the cells of your ancestors, and they continue to express themselves through you. Okay, so we're not going to get into that because that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but that's really what it is rooted in. Okay, you can see where people allowing the unconscious aspects of themselves that they haven't got to know to rule their life, and you can really observe how that human can be operating in these repetitive feedback loops of suffering. Okay, so Akashic Stargates, this is what you guys are doing. Okay, so a Stargate is a portal that takes us through space and time into a whole other universe. And this is about your time dilation bubble. Really honestly is like your crown chakra. That's how I'm seeing it right now, because this is a chakra point that extends beyond the human field, and it literally is like there's a whole auric field, right? It's like this whole bubble, and that's your biggest filter of perception during this time, and that allows you to surf through, you know, these events and see it from a higher level of awareness. You're not just interacting with it, right? You're actually almost like an outsider looking in, right? Yeah, it's like you're able to remote view your own experiences and anchor your higher self throughout your whole organism, and become your higher self in physical form, and be the walking embodiment of your higher self, and to become that example, and to hold space for the paradox of this reality. Okay, so this is the concept of Einstein-Rosen bridge, or what is also known as a wormhole, where a speculative structure linking different points of space-time is created. In spirituality, a Stargate is less about traveling on the physical three-dimensional level and more about making progress on the spiritual, which is again about knowing that a good traveler is the one that knows how to travel with the mind. A feature of many spiritual traditions is the idea that all of us have a Stargate in our heart that connects us with the basically lattice of consciousness. So I feel like, again, as you view things through as you cultivate stillness, you guys are essentially, what's happening is you're actually growing gray matter in the brain, and this allows you to be highly conducive. Like, you guys are essentially able to become your higher self in physical form, and it allows you to also activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is an autonomic like nervous system response, right? Just like how people that operate in fear are usually activating their nervous system, right? It's like this nervous system response is essentially like an autonomic response where, again, their adrenaline goes, their cortisol stress level rises, and that has certain biochemical deposits, and that leads to people being addicted to chaos, essentially, and they don't know any different, right? This is something that they've inherited ancestrally, and so have you, but to be able to transcend that. So there's something about you being able to heal that. You guys have been able to cultivate this internal stillness, which again has like regulated yourself. You're able to regulate your nervous system despite any kind of external stimuli. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, very interesting. Okay, so yeah, wherever the Akashic again, the Akashic Stargate transports us to a space where we are given the opportunity to make a decision to accelerate the realization of our life purpose. And again, your guys' purpose is to be able to lead by example. So whenever the Stargate is presented to you, it's because you're at a critical point in your journey. You have the opportunity to move in a particular direction and to make a decision. This can feel overwhelming, and you may be waiting for someone or something to make that decision for you. but you aren't here to walk a path that was set for you. You're here to walk a path that you have chosen. So this is a less traveled road, right? The next phase of your journey cannot unfold unless you decide with what way to go. Know that whatever direction you take and whatever decision you make, you'll also always be on the right path, and no matter how you get there, you'll always end up in a similar space. Also, know that purpose isn't about doing your duty, it's about living life and experiencing joy. And I feel like you guys are doing that. Like you're seeing the beauty within it. Like you're seeing the beauty of being a witness to how much you guys have transformed, right? You're no longer just reacting to situations, because that reaction is a depletion of your life force, because you're externalizing your power, right? It's like you're closing these cycles, and you're feeling the full spectrum of human emotion, which is what you're here to do. Which is, okay, like there's something that's going on. Let's close the cycle. Let's come back up to our biggest filter perception, being Antares, right? Uriel, the crown chakra. Let's see it from a higher state of awareness. Okay, I can actually observe now that this individual is projecting their own fears or insecurities on me. Okay, I can actually observe neutrally and not judge that this individual is definitely operating in fear. How do I want to choose to respond? Am I just going to react to them, or am I actually going to extend compassion, operate and access and activate the heart space, integrate the divine feminine into the reptilian brain consciousness, which is the human vessel? Like there's so many different aspects, right, that we can shapeshift in and out of, and it's being able to, we are multidimensional beings, right? We exist multidimensionally on multiple levels within this present moment. And whatever your most active chakra point is going to become your biggest filter perception, okay, at any given point in time. So I feel like this is all about acceptance, okay, and being able to see that, accept yourself, accept others. And the truth is, once you accept yourself from operating this way, the paradox is that you can begin to actually change yourself. So again, a lot of you, this is about going through those spiral moments, right, and being able to do something that you didn't do before, because you've learned something of great value since the last time around. A lot of you, this is literally about regulating your nervous system, because the trigger just reveals a place within you that's not yet free. So Lemurian seed codes, let's go ahead and read this one to you. And this is what the real work is. Like this is what the real internal work is. That's awareness of thyself, right? That closes the gap between individual awareness, right? Instead of individual separation, you're now closing the gap to individual awareness. You're aware of others in a way that they may not even be aware of themselves yet. So hold space for them. That also brings universal awareness, where you can now connect to other aspects of self that extend far beyond this matrix. Okay, so Lemuria's civilization, again, this is also like the crystalline, the crystal magnetite, okay, the magnetite crystal within the brain. This also is about gray matter and becoming like highly conducive. So this basically talks about gray matter growing within the brain, and then that also grows down the spine, which is about it going down the vagus nerve, which is about these internal networks, all right, that you have to oneself, deeply to your own awareness, and being able to observe awareness. Because once you observe consciousness, it becomes conscious awareness and it begins to behave differently. So again, it's like you're able to not just merely engage with the external reality, but it's like you're able to actually observe your awareness, allow it to become conscious awareness, and now it begins to become an outsider looking in on its own experiences. And that's what you guys are doing. Again, it's like an outer body experience that's almost happening right now. It's emerging with the higher nature and the lower nature. Look at this. It literally says, right, the inhibitions of the sacred land lived in complete harmony with nature and had connection to every living being, similar to the movie Avatar. Their inner vision was fully activated to the point where it was thought that their pineal gland was fully developed and they could see for hundreds of miles in every direction, in similar ways of the sonar, dolphins, and whales. So again, this is about echolocation, right? It's like you guys are being led, right, when it comes to the best way to kind of navigate your way through earthly experiences. Again, this allows them to pick up on the tectonic plates of the earth shifting, volcanic eruptions and tsunamis. And it's super interesting because actually in the astral travel, let me find it, there was actually a tsunami. I don't think I mentioned it. I kind of glazed over it because there were so many messages, guys. But one of them, I talked about, where was it? I think it was the next one. Was it after Ra? Yeah, there was an aftermath of a flood or tsunami. So and there was also like reporters that were like saving some people that were basically drowning in the aftermath of the storm. So there could be something about you leading by example, also being able to, I'm hearing like save people from not anything externally but from themselves, right? Where you can become again like that devil within, right? Which is super interesting. But yeah, this is like a tsunami energy, so you guys are able to pick up on things energetically, okay? This also talks about you're a highly sensitive being. You may feel like this is a curse, but this card has been here to let you know that it's a gift. You spent lifetimes upon lifetimes living with a giant shield up to stop the world from seeing the real you, but you are a highly unique soul with incredible gifts that are worth sharing. Through embracing your uniqueness, you can help many others embrace their own. There's something about why would you care about what others have to say about you as well? Like, it's not personal, it's just vibrational when they barely know themselves. Like, literally, they barely know themselves. So there's something about, again, don't take anything personally. Just see it as things that are happening vibrationally. Through embracing your uniqueness, you can help others to embrace their own. This lifetime is more of a graceful existence with less defense and more trust. It's not about protecting yourself, but stepping into the space of surrender and revealing your true self. And I feel like that's what's going on. You guys are like revealing your heart with the world. And then again, with the divine matrix, let's see if I can find, might be near the beginning. The base, synchronicity and God instances. You're in alignment with oneness of the light of life and the inner workings of the universe. This talks about, again, links to the ancestry as well, which is super interesting. And it talks about you being a part of something great. This means that you were expressing greatness itself, right? Infinite potential is expressing itself through you. Not one thing in your life has happened by chance. Even when you felt like things have been against you, it's been a process unfolding to help you understand your connectedness to all things. So there's no need to feel insignificant or lonely. It's also important to remember that the universe is always working in your favor for your highest good. Being awakened, okay, or conscious awareness in a world full of, you know, many deities that are still lost in sleeping in matter. They have lost themselves. It looks very different because you look very different, I'm hearing, because you're not mirroring the wounds back to others. You may have felt lost, but know that nothing is ever lost, for we are all in the heart of source, and love is our connection to all things. So again, this is literally about, it's so deep, like it's so deep. It's, if you know, you know. Happy family, soul family energy, right? Happy family. And Healer of the Ages at the base, right? Which is about Christ consciousness energy. We'll go ahead and read this. A lot of you have been, you know, you've been contracted to do this. A lot of you, this is within your family. Okay, this is within your family. This is literally you being like the healer of your family lineage. Oh, see, now that's deep. Epigenetically reprogramming, right? Because this is about morphic resonance. Okay, this is about morphic resonance. And you guys literally being a soul that was brought into a very specific, you know, bloodline to be able to, you know, we were literally talking about clearing the bloodline and generational, you know, this is just, it's so, there's so much to cover that it's just, I'm wondering how to split this up. I don't want to like bombard you guys with so much information, so I'm trying to be cautious of this. But this is saying that you're not like just coded. You are the writer of your code. You can change the story, right? Essentially, you can express a different code. Super interesting. And your life force is no longer entangled with the past or past expressions. It's like you're consciously breaking these cycles and you're introducing a better way, right? You're consciously now stopping these repetitive feedback loops, and you're reaching a point of divergence, and you're showing a higher expression. I'm hearing one that can be foreign to others and maybe even to yourself. But a lot of you, this is like literally new neurological pathways that you're forming within the brain. It's like you're repeating something, right? It's like you're realizing that nothing's going to change unless you change. So something about the change comes from within, right? That's what they talk about with the new earth. It happens within. And as you heal yourself, you also heal the earth, right? But yeah, it's like you're repeating these things that may feel foreign to you or even others until you eventually form like a new neurological pathway. Like you're literally a new person, you know, that's what I'm seeing. You literally form new synapses in the brain. Eventually it just becomes who you are. So again, a lot of you, this is like the full integration of who you are. Health and vitality. The powerful being brings the force of ancient wisdom and profound healing, and the light of the divine consciousness pours from his hands, his heart, flowing to you with love, powerful healing intention. This amazing entity is with you now and bringing resolution to physical, mental, and emotional ills, helping to unblock stuck energy and revitalize your life force. You may have felt this strong presence recently, or you've been opening up to the wonderful sensations. You can call upon this emissary. I swear we were talking about that, right? Spontaneous. Of miraculous transformations wherever you need. Vitality, balance, and renewal, knowing that at the deepest level there is an important healing that's taking place. So again, as you heal yourself, you're also healing your generational lineage with happy family. Like your ancestors are literally celebrating you right now. You're showing them a higher expression, right? That's really what happens during this time. Yeah, super interesting. Yeah, we're not going to get into all of that. We're going to do a whole workshop on that. Because I really need to like break it down for you guys. Okay, let's see. A lot of you already know what I'm talking about though. Let's go ahead and take a look at wisdom of the oracle message to you. And then I'll probably love and leave you guys very soon. A ray of thinker and fork in the road. So everything is exactly as it seems right now. Fork in the road and we have new life. Wow. So everything is exactly as it seems right now. This is a fork in the road. Do I stay in familiar territory, continuing these repetitive feedback loops, even though it leaves me feeling unfulfilled, or do I step into a new way of being, a new existence, and step into a new life, right? Thinker is saying that you're going to be very, very successful in this. Like you have successfully being able to integrate high levels of consciousness and apply that via your free will into your earthly experiences. 39, let's see. Birth of new ideas, opportunities, a breath of fresh air, and life renewing itself. When spring awakens, joy and excitement can be felt all around and in your very core. Blossoms burst from trees overnight, birds return home and sing their glorious song, and nature is full of promise. Miracles beacon on us all. This is one of those times where in your life where new ideas and new opportunities bring hope and allow you to see your dreams come true. It's a good time of good fortune. It talks about you have every reason to be optimistic right now. Things are going to magically fall into place. And yeah, there's like things are going to be appearing in very surprising forms, okay? But there's like this crackling, like infinite potential that lies within you. Thinker is saying the same thing. 13 though is almost like there's a new way of being. You guys are moving forward in a more harmonious way during this time. Like being in harmony with who you are. Let's see. And also with joyful moods here at the base, it basically talks about how you're waking up to like the same reality, but in a way where it's like never been here, never done that. You know, it's like you're practicing a little bit of outrageousness. And this is about connecting to your pure, innocent, like inner child, right? Like that innate, innocent side of yourself. Wow. Dream thief, refusal of the call, keep quiet. Wow. And Garden of Venus. Oh, if there had to be any card or any story to tell you what was going on right now, it would be these three, okay? Look at this. So Dream Thief talks about people that want to tell you those same stories about, you know, the way that you've been, who you've had to be in order to get here, so who you're not going to continue to be moving forward. It's like you're releasing an old archetypal mold. And it brought you, I'm hearing like a false concept of safety just because it was familiar. With deep quietness and meditation and stillness, it says that as you sit in stillness, what you need to hear will get loud, okay? Especially when it comes to how to deal with people that may be trying to lull you back into that slumber or have you go unconscious. And with 25, look at this, go unconscious, right? Something switching off. And with Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. I love this card. We'll go ahead and read it. It basically talks about how you guys are this warrior, right? You guys are this internal, like, spiritual warrior during this time. You've been able to cultivate a strong sense of, like, spiritual agility, mental agility, King of Swords energy. And there's going to be gardeners who haven't done that internal work that have no business being on the battlefield, but they will try to call you out for battle. But this is knowing that it's time to just stay in the Garden of Venus, right? Garden of Venus is about your values. It's about peace. It's about smelling the roses, how far it is that you've come. and choosing not to engage, right, in the battlefield. So when the Garden of Venus appears, you are invited, actually summoned, to return to the pleasure garden of love. It's a time to leave the field of battle. Put your sword away. There is no need to defend it anymore. And we're coming back to a full circle moment before closing out with a sword, guys. Listen to this. Put your sword away. There is no need to defend anything anymore. Step through the gate into the garden of earthly delights. Bask in the joy of wish-fulfilling trees and the scent of the healing flowers. You have returned home. You are weary. It is time to rest deeply and be renewed. Go into the sacred garden alone, as there is no need for another to be present to experience its pleasures. Really stop looking for the other. Enter by yourself. Allow your senses to intoxicate you. Leave all thought behind. Lose your analytical mind and return to your body. So with the neocortex, right, this is also something that you can use to meditate. So for example, like if you're brushing your teeth, feel the movement of you brushing your teeth. If you're in the shower and there's water running down your skin, feel those senses. Those senses are there, they're supposed to ground you. That's why when people say there's like an amygdala hijack, okay, and there's like basically it's the fight or flight response in the brain, and there's an autonomic like nervous system response there and reaction, where you begin to like, again, become very stressed. The organism is literally paralyzed in fear in that moment. That's why they tell you, breathe, right? Feel your senses. That's like why therapists tell you that. They're like, you know, focus on your surroundings. What do you see? Name 5 things that you can see. What do you hear? What can you feel? What do you feel right now? Like it grounds you, you know, that's the whole point. And that automatically, or an autonomic nervous system response of your parasympathetic nervous system, which is about the calming effect. It's about, okay, allowing yourself to, you know, run your digestive tract, begin to digest all of these emotional experiences, the emotional data that you're gaining from these experiences, right? And being able to, like, you know, actually realize that you are the awareness that is anchored in the physical vessel, and had to come back to that mind, body, soul connection. So that's what you guys are being told to do during that time, right? Ground yourself. Okay, so that's why they say Neo's in the Matrix, right? So love who you've turned into with all of your imperfections. In the Garden of Venus, there is a still pond that shows your reflection when you stoop down to drink. Who's staring back at you? Look at who you've become. Rinse your face with these healing waters and practice deep acceptance. Love who you've turned into with all your imperfections and blemishes. The goddess of Venus holds a mirror and allows you to see yourself in your flawed beauty. Do not become caught in its spell. After a quick glance, take the mirror with you and return to the battlefield, that you may reveal to others who they are becoming. Then you have no use for your sword any longer. So again, it's like you guys, your non-response, okay, or making sure that you actually respond when you do, right, and not just react. Even your silence is going to be deafening, right? Your actions are going to be the things that speak 1,000 words. And this is what you guys are gaining clarity in regards to, right? It says, after the storm passes, clarity is felt faster than lightning is seen against the sky. You've weathered the storm and now the sky is clearing. So you guys are no longer a part of just like seeing the life as chaos, right? Externalizing your power, but you're actually seeing the cosmos within the chaos. And you're seeing every adversity as an equivalent seed of opportunity, right? Because that really does lie there, if you want to see it as that, if you want to perceive it as that, if you want to close the cycle and come back to yourself, right, in a centripetal state of being, and have all your life force come back to you, right? Being really intentful and conscious when it comes to how you want to exchange your life force, and understand who and what you're exchanging your life force with. I don't really think we need to do any cards, but we'll just close out with a message for... Let's see what your advice is during this time. We'll get an advice message for you guys. 5 of Wands, okay? So look at this, right? 5 of Wands is saying that this is people chasing an external flame, okay? This flame is consuming you. You can see with the Emperor here, he's taking power and control back over his life. He's responding. Look at this. Everyone else is playing checkers, right? They're like scattering diagonally across like this board, right? Trying to have a response or whatever this is, right? It's like butting heads with others, being okay to step on others, right? There's no code of honor here. See this? The Emperor has a chess piece in his hand. This is saying that there's an intricate, complex, infinite number of moves that you can make in this life. Move like a king or queen on a chessboard and be very strategic when it comes to how you want to make your moves in life. You don't just react when you're playing chess. Slow, steady. It's also Mars energy, right? The planet of war, but it's also about ambition, motivation, and how you align your actions in the physical through your physical vessel. Be strategic in how you align your actions, right? Page of Swords. Other people, they'll be curious about you. People with this energy, listen, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. King of Swords here at the base. And you have the Page of Swords. Listen, we are all children in these different evolutionary stages of growth. We all come from the same plasma. We all come from the same wisdom. And we're all learning to return to that wisdom once again. So understand when you're dealing with people that may be operating on a completely different plane of consciousness, they have not yet mastered their mind. So how can they master their matter when they're just reacting to things? So with this energy, your advice right now is 5 of Wands, Page of Swords, right? Allow people to learn. Allow them to learn through you. This is a warrior. He's all 4 kings combined, right? Does he look like he has a sword in his hand? No. So these are the gardeners that want to be at war, okay? The message really that's coming through is you're going to be highly contemplated. Every interaction with you is going to be a learning experience for others. They're actually going to be very curious, right? Very curious. They may actually say things out of just frustration, because with the Page of Swords, it's kind of like just, you know, the words just come out. Like, it's just like, everything is a confession. Every opinion that they have, right? Every judgment that other people have is a personal confession, and it comes to the surface in very unconscious ways, and it only represents where people are at war within themselves, where people are internally conflicted within themselves. You're going to be highly contemplated. People are going to have a hypnotic fascination about you and why you move the way that you do. And if there's anything that they can say to take you off of your throne, you don't need to step outside of your shoes. You do not need to waste your life force pointing out people's true colors, because lack of character always ends up revealing itself. But still have that code of honor, even if people may not have that for you. So I'm gonna leave you guys right there. I don't really feel like there's much else that we need to talk about for this reading. I mainly just wanted to get those messages out because it's going to be very, you know, important during this time as we step into numerical 9 year. But I'm gonna love and leave you guys right there. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, do consider subscribing. I'd love to have you around. Thank you guys for doing the work, and personal reading details are also down below. Until next time, bye.